A girl and a boy see the heat in their hearts in a radiant New York restaurant. He wants to impress her because the price he's bottled, but she kind of prefers that they were down in McDonald's. She tries to pretend that she knows how to sit, which spoon to use. Her napkin silk knit, her eyes are as dark as the winter's night, her skin olive with a sun-kissed shower. Her hair thick and dark as her blood, and her curves are as delicate as a clematis flower. His eyes are as blue as the summer sky, his skin as fair as the dawn's new light. His hair kissed golden by the sunset, his bones as broad as a sturdy mind. A waiter brings down the drinks they asked, and the boy's upset, for it's not the right glass. He thinks he ordered straight, no stutter. With a quiet tone he asks for another. The girl thinks that the waiter is not from this land. She thinks of her parents, the strife they withstand through learning the language and learning the streets, the hard jobs, the struggles to make ends meet. And though she knows that the boy doesn't want to offend, she's sad he can't seem to understand that the waiter is struggling to grasp at his words, while he thinks he's asking for what he justly deserves. The girl wants to tell him he's being blind, but instead she just is quiet and bears her mind. As hours go by like out of a story, they talk about life and all their worries. The girl slowly sips on her ruby red wine, and the boy slurps his beer with no track of time. Eventually talk goes to religion, and the girl starts to fight, and she lists all her reasons, waving her arms and starting to shout, the boy imploring her not to run out. The girl, still offended, she bursts at the seams in the dimly lit restaurant, causing a scene. The boy doesn't know why she'd so quickly surrender to all that is painful and all that is tender, so much that it spoils the time that they've spent. And as she says goodbye, he fears it's the end. As they come apart, she heads home in a cloud. She tiptoes, but her heels are often too loud. Into the kitchen, holding her breath in fear, hoping and praying that her father won't hear. She trips over a jar filled with pickled tomatoes, knocking Mother Teresa off the wall with her elbow, her father confused by American dating. He's been worried all night for his daughter and waiting. He doesn't scold her. It's not his intent. He just sits still in a quiet disappointment, which is so much harder for the conscience to hold, and it stabs her soul and swallows her whole. He's a hard-working, smart, good, honest man. He's built so much with his own two bare hands. He values his family far above money and honor. Everything for love, for his wife, for his daughters. As her mom heads to work in the late midnight hours, she tells her to guard herself, to stay safe in her tower. The world's not to be trusted. It will steal up her youth. It will use up her beauty and twist up the truth. And her sister, she holds her and listens and wipes her tears. Plagued by shadows of adolescent fears, her mother herself, beautiful and exquisite, lived an adventure-filled youth with so much excitement, her heart full of gold, a poetic recanter, her pride and passion in the hands of her daughter. And often the vigor and joy in these two, it bursts through the seams and you see it shine through, but sometimes there's sorrow in the faces they wear, a look that slowly snuck on them somewhere. Through the dishes and floors that they scrubbed through dawn, loved ones left behind, buried, now gone, with nightmares of past pains that they bury in an ancient abandoned old cemetery. Their feet never firmly, neither here nor there, their vagabond hearts floating midair. Their home is fenced by others like theirs, with half-fixed cars and twinkle lights in the stairs, smelling of chamomile and pure olive oil, the head of the lamb that burns on the boil. Though they do not all share the same foreign name, they feel like a family and they long for the same. They supported each other when their own country couldn't. They opened their homes when all others wouldn't. And the people of this town, they're sometimes too loud, too tearsome, meddlesome, sometimes too proud. They stir up and gossip, they pry, they stare at the brands of the cars and the clothes that they wear. Their wistful whims get the best of their wits as they speak in exotic tongues in the streets. But as the week comes to a close, to an end, they come together and they join hand in hand in a chain of music, of feeling, of color, and they feed and they kiss and they love one another, and their emotional songs and smells have no end, and they bring a taste of their home to this new promised land. their motherland, a rock-filled, rough, rugged warrior. She suffered through hundreds of wars and of horror. Her shape has changed 200 times, but her character, it never broke nor resigned. Never losing her dignity, though she did lament through the rivers of tears and blood she has shed. Her laws, as fickle as the hopes of the mobs, her character built through bunkers and bombs, grown by warriors like Alexander the Great, adored by his kingdom and doomed by his fate, by Vincent shedding out blood from his ear, Da Vinci who painted with only his tears, Cleopatra seducing foreign lands through their hearts, and even before that they prayed to their gods, oh so jealous, demanding imposers, lustful and prideful, mocking their poets, how they liked to indulge and how they liked to surrender, and all that was striking and all that was tender. 2,000 miles further up to the north, another fatherland is also set forth, born of glaciers erected to stone, with iron and bronze infused in their bones, with soldiers and stallions who pillage and plunder, and cannon powder that echoed in thunder. They put all their trust in statues and royals, and Sir Isaac Newton in science and in lawyers, and Darwin's evolution, and Kant and his kind, and John Locke's study of reason and mind. They knew not to sway with the winds of the seasons. They found their morals grounded in reason. And one day not too long ago, a group of these men, they bound on a ship, found a new fatherland. Their strength and their stubbornness and disciplined hands found a new world, found freedom again. And sometimes they killed innocent natives. The cotton fields flooded with the tears they put slaves in. But time did what she does, as history whispers in their reasoning. Their laws, they soon became crisper. Their justice adapted and their morals evolved, and they became more grounded in the problems they solved, to change up the laws, to seek independence. They fought for a system and the laws to defend them. Protesting injustice, they fought for their rights, and they shaped up new character with the force of their fight. And in a neighborhood filled with these strong-minded staples, there lives a family full of these people. The father, a good man, is quiet and wise. He wears a briefcase and a suit and a tie. He wakes before sunrise to be home before dinner. He teaches his children to be strong, to be winners. He never skips a single one of their games. He teaches them manners, that their bones mend the same, to stand up, to fight whenever they fall, to dry up their tears, to keep playing ball. He teaches his children to keep working wisely, to reach for the big leagues, to aim for the ivies, and his wife is a sturdy and an effective woman. She's left her job to raise her children. She uses no makeup, she prefers simple dress, and she tries not to dwell on the careers that she's missed. The simplicity upholds the roots of their family. She does not spoil them, although they have money. One of her sons starts to grow, leaves the house, chooses a job, and he looks for a spouse. His eyes are as blue as the summer sky. His skin is fair as the dawn's new light. His hair is kissed golden by the sunset, and his bones broad as a sturdy mind. And one day, while sitting in a restaurant, it all becomes clear, and he knows what he wants as she waves her arms wildly and walks away with the world. The boy falls madly in love with the girl. Her eyes are as dark as the winter's night, her skin olive, a sun-kissed shower, her hair thick and dark as her blood, and her curves delicate as a clematis flower. And though they're different in every sense, every fashion, when bare bodies entangle, there's no reason, just passion. They're simply extensions of one another. They're one with love and loves their higher power. And he sees a gazelle, exquisite and tender, and she sees a stallion that will never surrender. And their love is what grants them the language and patience to bear open their hearts, to let go of vengeance. For love, it is stronger than Socrates' passions, than Kant's moral reasons, than Cleo's high fashions. They learn how to reason, they learn how to feel. She soothes his fury, and he catches her tears. And one day they bring forth a new child, a new life. And the boy and the girl, they become man and wife. And they dance hand in hand in the fields of his mother's. They play ball with him in the fields of his fathers. He studies the Bible, Shakespeare, and Hobbes. He knows of the passion of the love of the gods. He knows of the justice of the law's predecessors. He hears of the sacrifices of all his ancestors. He dreams of the big leagues, and he aims for the ivies. In his heart it is good, and he makes choices wisely. His skin olive with a sun-kissed tan, his hair kissed by morning light, his bones broad as a sturdy mind, and his eyes are as dark as the winter's night. And sometimes he's stubborn and swallows his tears, still learning to reason, still learning to feel. It seems we've got crimes that we're all guilty of. But the Beatles will write, all you need is love. Hi, I am Livja, and the story that I just shared is that of the coming together of two very different cultures and worlds between my husband and I. Even though we are two separate people that come from different cultures, gender, economic status, religion, etc., you name it. At the end of the day, we're just human beings, and we have the same needs. A difference in opinion, if it's looked at superficially, can tear a relationship apart, can tear a whole country apart and dismantle it, can make us villainize each other and lose focus on the fact that at our core, we all just care about the same things. We just go about it in different ways. As human beings, we are inherently tribal. We have this need to belong to a group, and we do it so passionately. But regardless of which tribe, race, gender, religion, or political ideology we belong to, the things that we disagree about, they're often only the tip of the iceberg. Usually they stem from the same fears, insecurities, and flaws, the desires to protect our most important dreams and values. We're all made up of the same imperfect human material. We're all capable of horrible crimes and beautiful miracles. We all want to know that our children and our parents, the people that we love, they'll be okay and taken care of. We all just want to feel heard and understood, and we want to feel like we belong to a family and a community and a world that respects us and hears our needs. It's so important that we as a country take a moment to remember these things and to come together, especially considering how divided we've all become. We've worked too hard. We've come too far. Science, economics, technology, our medicine, our understanding of psychology of humanity, it's developed way too much for us to still be so focused on how we differ and how we disagree with each other. So the next time that you come across someone with a vastly different opinion from you, just take a moment to hear not just what they're saying with their mouth, but think about what they feel and why. What that value is that is actually important to them deep in their hearts, underneath the superficial words and the anger that come up out here. Try to see maybe you felt that same way before too, maybe even share that same value. So about 10 years ago, I'd come to New York City, and I'd become inspired to write music as I saw so many people here. And I was constantly on the lookout for a place to write my songs, preferably somewhere with a piano. As I wrote my songs, to me it didn't really matter whether I snuck myself into a church or a synagogue, a temple or a mosque. The way it felt as I sang, especially with the song that I'm about to show you, it was always as if the music would just rise up and echo above me. It would call out my dreams and my vulnerabilities to the same entity, the same higher power bigger than me. And it made me feel connected to humanity, to something bigger than myself. It was always the same spiritual experience regardless of where I was. So I ask that as you listen to my imperfect song and you see my drawings, think of your own prayers and hopes and dreams, and let them rise up together along with my song to the same sky above us as we share in the same imperfect human experience together.
Here lies a stranger stringing chords and words in his guitar, trying to find the reason. He's so close and still so far from where he thought he'd be, from all the time that he has lost, burning paychecks, dreams, throwing hope away like dust. With all his prayers song. In the end, we're only people, and even dreamers tend to forget. In the fires of all the passion, pain, and all that we regret, but we haven't given up just yet. When his time is come and gone, his song will play into the wind, soothing prisoners of all their jokes and all their dreams with all their naked hands, beating drums and souls to black and blue, trying to find themselves, trying to find the truth. Promises in the unknown, knowing nothing more than just a song. In the end, we're only people, and even dreamers tend to forget. In the fires of all the passion, pain, and all that we regret, but we haven't given